If you're a long time follower of the channel, you'll more than likely remember videos like this and this and this. That's right, they're haul videos from the early days of this channel going back 3 or 4 years now. If you're new and you want to catch up on these videos, you can watch them all by visiting the haul playlist on my channel. I'm Brickman117 and welcome back to the channel. The reason I'm showing you these old haul videos now is because the most common question I'll get on this video is how or why do you have so many Phantoms? Well, in all honesty, I didn't buy them intentionally. As part of these hauls, they almost always came with a Phantom. I was actually purchasing these hauls because I wanted dark green bricks to aid in the build of the ultimate Pelican. And by default, almost every haul came with a Phantom. The second most common question I'll get asked on videos like this is how much did I pay for all this stuff? Well, this was a number of years ago now. Some of these hauls were purchased before I even started my YouTube channel, and others started at the very beginning of the YouTube channel. So we're going back 4 or 5 years now. This was definitely the glory days of buying second-hand Mega Bloks on eBay. It was around the time just after, I would say, that Mattel bought out the Mega Bloks brand, and Mega Bloks as a brand just disappeared from the shelves in the UK and I believe most of Europe. When this happened, I think there was a mass exodus of people just getting out of the hobby. Also, I think people came of age, young collectors that may have been collecting since 2009 through to 2015 that had collected these things. Maybe they'd been collecting since they were 9-10 years old. They got to the age of 16-17, maybe got into different things and basically just started clearing out, getting rid of all their old sets. So to answer your question, if you go back and watch these haul videos, I quite often do say how much I paid for these hauls. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm not going to watch all the videos, but I seem to recall it was rare I paid more than £100 for one of these hauls. It wasn't uncommon to get a haul with 15 to 20 sets of Mega Bloks for £50-60. Clearly those days are long gone. Mega has soared in value since then, and it's a lot more difficult to get an absolute bargain on eBay. That said, if you're vigilant, you do sometimes get the odd bargain, so keep your eyes peeled. So back to the present, why do I have all of these Phantoms built up and why have I waited until now to build them and show them and talk about them? Well, I'm trying to learn from mistakes of the past. When I was building the ultimate Pelican, I was constantly buying these hauls because I always needed more green. I was so hungry for it. That build took, I don't know, maybe 6 months plus, but it was mainly because I just couldn't get enough green fast enough. When I was getting all of these other sets, they were just put to the side because it took so much sorting to get them all put together. As you saw, it's just rubble. It takes months and months and months to go through everything and get it sorted and put back into complete sets. Often they're not complete sets, but when you have several hauls, you can make complete sets of those hauls. When it comes to the Phantom, I didn't have anything particular in mind at the time, but I did play around with the idea of building an ultimate Phantom. Not sure whether I'll ever do that due to the complexities of building a much bigger scaled Phantom. But even if I do, I don't want to make the same mistake that I made with the ultimate Pelican. I ended up being so desperate to finish the ultimate Pelican that I used so many of the sets that I'd collected over the years that I don't actually have single complete sets of a lot of those sets that I used to create the ultimate Pelican. For example, the Rhino, I have nothing to display. Back then I didn't care and I didn't really have a display area. As you well know, I've now created a really nice area to display these sets and I want to display them, and it's frustrating that I don't want to have to take apart the ultimate Pelican to have a Rhino on display. But at the same time, I can't just pick one up for 10 or 15 pounds off eBay anymore. Generally, they go for a lot more than that. And hauls are so few and far between, I'm unlikely to get one that way. So I made the decision 6 or 7 months ago that I wanted to go through my stock and try and build at least one of every set that I have so I can put it on display. Because as I've grown into collecting this brand, I've become more and more fond of the older sets. When I was getting these hauls, they were just old sets. I was more keen on the latest, newest stuff out. I was just using this lot for parts. But now they've got a certain nostalgic value and charm to them, especially given that aside from the Banished Phantom, we've never had a up-to-date recreation of the Covenant Phantom. So I'd quite like one on display. But when I thought about putting one on display, I thought, actually, do you know what? They'd all look pretty nice on display. So that's the purpose of this video. I wanted to make sure I had them built. I also wanted to see how many I could actually complete, because in all honesty, I've only ever paid for one complete set that was confirmed as complete 100% by an eBay seller. So the rest of them, they've just been all cobbled together from other people's scrap. And although only 4 or 5 of them are truly 100% complete with stickers and every piece that they're supposed to have, I'm so glad that I took the time to build all these. And yes, a couple of them are missing some very important pieces, but I may get those in the future. But I think it was well worth taking the time to build them, because seeing them all laid out on the floor together puts a very big smile on my face. But as nice as they look on the floor, they can't stay there for obvious reasons. They need to go up on shelvings on display where they'll be safe and out of the way. As you can see in front of you, this is one display area that I created with these small cubes to house individual sets. Most of those are filled up. I do have some around the side, but on the other side, the cube units are empty because you'd never see them tucked down beside the new in box collection. Also around the back of this table that I created for the Ultimate AA gun build, there's a whole load more cube units, which obviously you'd never see. They're pushed up against the wall. So I made a decision to sacrifice the ultimate build table for now whilst I'm not in the process of an ultimate build, and reconfigure these cube units up against the wall to maximize the amount of cubes that I could actually get sets in. And I'm really pleased with the way this has turned out. It's given me lots of extra space which I can use as I go through my old Mega Bloks collection and continue to build vintage or classic sets that I want to get out on display. As for the Phantoms, they won't go in these cubes, they're too big for that. I did contemplate putting them on top of these units, or they could go in the bigger display cases if I put some extra shelves in. So let's take a look and see what that looks like. And I'm sure you'll agree they look much better in the bigger display cases. I've decided to put 7 almost complete ones, 5 as good as complete, I think, on display. The other 2 that are missing some pretty obvious parts, I'm going to hold those 2 back and see if I can get the parts in the future. But I'm really pleased with how these look, and I am glad that I decided to build them rather than just use them for parts. I think they look really nice on display, along with some of the other sets that have made it onto the shelves. This display is by no means complete. I've got some of the Infinite sets that I had from the Ultimate Diorama build. I've just grouped those together with the Banished and the UNSC sets. Got some classic sets and also some custom builds along the top shelf. As I go through my collection, I'll continue to add and rejig these things. Obviously, sooner or later, I'll run out of space again, but it's good to know for now I've got plenty of room to go forwards. And that's just about it for this update. So as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.